Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I cut and sew this beautiful gown you are watching on the screen right now. This is a very simple A-shaped gown. So I'm going to be showing you from beginning to the end of how I sew and cut it in this particular tutorial. So if today is the first time of joining my channel, you are welcome. And if you are a return subscriber, you are welcome as well. God bless you for joining this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. God bless you. Let's get back to work. I don't want to waste your time. So let's see how I sew it from beginning to the end. So the fabric used for this tutorial is a lace fabric, and at the same time we use this beautiful.
So here is the fabric we are using for our tutorial,
well.
and this is the trimmings that we are going to be putting at the neckline. This is a ready-made trimmings. It's for the neck. So, and this is the lace material we are going to be using for this tutorial. So I want you to stay back and watch this tutorial in details. The lace I'm using for this tutorial is 3.5 yards of lace, and this lace naturally is not always the length is not always enough for the customer length. Like this lace, the length is always 40. At times you will see 44, at times you will see 48, at times 47, depending on the kind of lace you bought. You understand? So that is about the length. So I'm going to cut another length to join it. At the same time, anytime I'm cutting a shape style, this is what I always do. Apart from the pose, what I do is that the biggest number in the person measurements, like let's say apart from the person length, the biggest number, if the biggest number in the person measurement is the person bust, that is what I will use to bring out the person measurement. Or if the person biggest number is the person hip measurement, that is what I will use to bring out the person measurement. Now, in this particular tutorial, the person hip measurement is the biggest number. The person hip measurement is the biggest number. You understand? The person hip measurement is 42. So anytime I want to cut a shape gown, a shape that is a little bit free in the body, I will add 5 inches extra on fold to the person measurement to bring out the fabric before I start to do hip, bust, waist and stuff like that. Before I start to bring out my measurement, that is what I always do. I will add 5 inches. Before you cut out a cloth, you must know what you need to do. So what I always do is to add my 5 inches before I cut it out. I mean the breadth, not the length. Now, this is what we have. The length here is 48. And the person full length is 54. That is, the length here is not enough for our client's length. So what do? So we are going to cut another fabric. Yes. So I'm going to cut another fabric and join it at the down part. You are going to join it in the sense that it's going to be very, very neat. The way you will join it, it will even add to the design at the down part. So what I did, I already folded the fabric. I just fold the fabric into 4 because I'm going to remove the 2 back and front from inside. So I'm going to cut the remaining part. We said we have 48 minus 54, it will give us 6. Then I added just 1 inches to the length measurement. You can decide to add 2 inches to these pieces that you want to cut, depending on the length you are working with. But I added just 1 inches to it. 1 inches, that is what I had. So I'm going to show you how you are going to add that to the length of your lace. This is what I have. So I'll take 1 piece of the lace. Then I'm going to place it like this. Just watch the way you are going to place it. You don't need to sew it. Like, you don't need to sew it like you want to sew clothes. You want to join clothes. No. Just place it like this. Can you see the way I place it? Just place it like this. And top stitch it. Just straight on a straight line. With the same thread that will rhyme with the clothes. You're going to use the same thread that will rhyme with the clothes so that it will not show at all. You understand? So I'm going to use pin. I'm going to pin it. I'll pin it. After pinning it, I'll repeat the same thing for the back as well. I'll repeat the same thing for the back as well. It's with extra fabric. Now I have to measure it back. So can you see? This is the person length measurement. This is 55.5. So the 0.5 that is there is what I'm going to use to join the shoulder, the two shoulders together at the upper part. The 0.5 that is there. I hope you are getting it. That's why it's have 0.5 after joining it together. So this is it. This is the front and back. I don't add any zip allowance to the measurement. I don't add any zip allowance to it because it's not going to have zip. It's going to be having button at the down part. So that's why I don't add any zip allowance to it. So now our fabric is already ready. The next thing we need to do is to start taking our measurements one after the other. So we need our length measurements, our bust measurements, our waist measurements, our half length, and our hip measurement as well. So back to what I explained earlier before I start to cut it. I said check the person measurements you are working with. Check the biggest number in the person measurement. Now, in this sense now, apart from the length measurement, which is 54, the waist is 34, the bust is 34 rather, the waist is 28.5, while the shoulder is 15, the half length is 14, the hip is 40. The hip is 42, which is the biggest number so far, apart from the length that I called, is 42. So that is what I always use to bring out my client's measurement. Now, let's measure 42. 42 divided by 4 will give us 10.5. 10.5 plus 5 inch. Yes, plus 5 inch. I'm going to trim the excess. I'm going to trim it off. It's supposed to be plus 5 inches. I always add 5 inches to it. So that is for the body. That is for the body. The reason why we had these 5 inches, do you know why? It's because of the down part. You know, the down part, the leg part, is not going to be straight. It's going to be a little bit like this. It must not be straight so that the person will be able to walk, because I'm not going to slit it at the down part. So now that is that about that. Let's move to the measurement now. Let's start taking our measurements one after the other. So like we said earlier, this is what we are using for the neck. Now this neck that we are using, you will need this neck. You will definitely need it to cut your neckline. The reason why you need this is because so that by the time you cut the neckline, the neck will not be too big for your neck. Please take note of that. The neck you are using, in case you are using a ready-made neck like this, use the neck to cut out your neckline so that it will not be too big. By the time you just cut it anyhow, it will not be too big and it will not fit very well. You understand? So I'm going to be using this neck to shape out my neck. I already do that. So I'm not going to be using it to do my back. I'm going to be using by 1 inches for the back. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take my shoulder measurement. Our shoulder is 15. Yes, our shoulder is 15. This is 15. Then I'm going to plus my half inches. I'm going to add half inches. The half inches I always add is for sewing allowance, you know, because we are still going to sew it with sleeve. So we have to like add the half inches inside. I hope you are getting it. So anything I use here, I'm going to use it for a armhole as well. So then I'll What do we have here? 8. I will measure the same thing exactly at this chest line as well. Can you see? Then I'm going to connect it together. I'm going to connect the two together. Can you see? So I'm going to connect it together with my ruler. So this is what I have right here now. Then I'm going to do my hammer cut. Sorry, it's not showing very well. I don't know why the chalk is not showing very well. So by the time I cut it, you will see it anyways. You're going to see it. And I'm going to do my shoulder slope. Now to the person bust measurement. Our bust is 30. Our bust is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give us 8.5 plus 2-inch sewing allowance. That's 2-inch sewing allowance. Can you see? So by the time we want to sew it, in this sense now, by the time you want to sew it, you are not going to sew exactly the person measurement. This is a shape. You are going to add your 1 inches to the sewing allowance. You are going to add 1 inch to your sewing because it's an A shape. Then I come to the half length. Our half length is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give us 8. So I have my 8 here plus my 2-inch sewing allowance. This is it. Now I'll come from the waist to our hip line. This is my chest line, my waistline, then to my hip line. Our hip line, I will be using 8 inches for our hip line. 8 inches from our waist to our hip line is 8 inches. Then our hip is 42, like we said. Our hip is 42. 42 divided by 4 will give us 10.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. 2 inches. Can you see that? Then I'm going to connect the tail line. I'm going to connect the tail line together. The waist, from the waist, yes, to the bust line. I'm going to connect the tail line together. This is it. After connecting it together. So it is this line here, the hip line, that I'm going to take it down. If you have your straight ruler, you can just do it straight down. Can you see the way I do it? Since I already have my measurements, just do it down. By the time I cut it now, you will see it. You will see what I mean. Now back to the neckline now. For the back neckline, I'll be using 3 by 1. For the back neckline, don't forget, I'll be using 3 by 1 inches. So let me chalk that out. 3 by 1, only the back. 3 by 1. So here is the back. I just cut out the back. Now this is the front. Let me cut the front. Here is the front. Now let me move to the shoulder. So everything I have here is after cutting. Then I measure 4 inches after cutting the neck of the back. Then I'm going to slit it. This is where I'm going to be putting my button, and so that the neck will be able to enter the person neck, the person head rather. So that's the reason why for that. So let's cut this out. Let's cut everything out and see what we have. Can you see? This is what we have after cutting everything. This is what we have. This is what we have. So we are going to be sewing this on with 1 inches. Then I'm going to do my shoulder slope. It's very, very important. So I just do that. So this is what we have. This is what we have. Now, the next thing I'm going to cut now is the sleeve measurement. So I'm going to be joining it with just 1 inch still down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is the sleeve. The sleeve have a little bit of design. The sleeve has a little bit of design. So that is what I'm going to cut now. I'm going to cut the sleeve now. Let's cut the sleeve and see what we get. Now back to the sleeve. This is it. I already cut what I want to use for the sleeve. I already cut it out. This is it. I want to measure it for us to see. So this is what we have. We have 19 on fold. It's already on fold. Can you see? It's on fold. This is it. So it's 19 on fold. That is 38. Then I'm going to fold it once again. I'm going to fold it once more. Can you see? This is what we have after folding it. And the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure. I'll measure from here. I'm going to measure 4.5 or 5. 4 or 4. Anyone can use 4.5. You can use 4 for this place. And I'm going to, like, from here, I'm going to do my arm curve. Yes, my sleeve curve. And I'll notch here. Then I'll come here. What is the person's sleeve band? A sleeve band is 14, which is 7. Then I will add just 1 inch to that for sewing allowance. I don't need to add much to that. Now this is what I have. This is what I have for the sleeve. The sleeve has flare at the down part. So let me put this aside. Let's cut the flare at the down part. Here, I'm going to be, the person's sleeve band is 12. Okay, the person's sleeve band is 12. Sorry for that. The person's sleeve band is 12. So I have to, like, that's what I'm going to use to cut out the flare band. This is the flare. I'm just trying to, like, fold the flare. I want to show you. This is it. Then I'm going to fold it once again. This is the flare. Then I'm going to measure. What do we have here? We have 10.5. So I'm going to work with the 10.5 all through. Just measure it round. Depending on what you are cutting anyway. Depending on how much you want the length and everything to be. Me, I'm working on the measurement right here now. 10.5. Then this is 10 here. And the person sleeve length is 16. So I'm going to use 6 to complete it. 6. And I'm still going to fold the down part of the, yes, can you see? I just added 1 inches to the length measurement because I'll be folding it at the down part. I'll be folding it at the down part. That's why I added that 1 inches to the length measurement. So I'm going to cut this out. This one that I cut now, I'm going to be using it for the 2 sleeve. Yes, I'll be using it for the 2 sleeve. Yes. So this is what I have right here, right now. Then I'm going to measure it. Is it enough? Is it enough? Is enough? Is enough for what I want to use it to do? This is it. This is it right here. Back to the sleeve now. The sleeve we are working with is a design sleeve because the sleeve is going to be beaded. So for this sleeve now, we are going to cut it. We are going to cut the sleeve. Yes, we are going to cut the sleeve. So let me measure it. I'll be measuring from here. I'll measure from here. I'll measure 2 inches. Oh. Yes, I'll be using 2 inches from here. I'll measure 2 inches from here. And I'll come to the upper part as well. I change it to 2.5. Then I'll come to this place. I'll use 1.5. 1.5 at the armhole side. At the down part, I use 2.5. So I'm going to cut that away. I don't need that. So this is what I need for the sleeve. This is it. So this one now as it is, I'm going to use bias. I'm going to use bias to turn this place that I cut now. I'm going to use bias to turn it. I'll be showing you how I'm going to go about it. I'll be showing you all that in the sewing tutorial. Because this place, the reason why I cut this place out is because we are going to bead this middle part. This middle part is going to be beaded. This is the bead I'm going to be working with. This is the bead I'm going to be working with at this part. So I'll be showing you how I'm going to do that in details in the sewing tutorial. So this is it. This is the flare. The first thing I did when I get to the machine is the flare. I first fold the flare. I fold it. I fold the down part of the flare. I fold the down part of the flare. And this is what I have. This is one sleeve now. This is one sleeve. I'll repeat the same thing for the second sleeve as well. I'll repeat the same thing. So this is what we are going to have after doing it like that. This is what you're going to have. So this is it. Can you see? The next thing you're going to do is to join the sleeve. Join it at this part. Join it at this part. So I'm going to join the sleeve here. How many inches did we remove earlier? So this is it. So I'll change this to 1.5. Then I'll measure right here. I'll measure 6.5 right here. Then I'm going to stitch it. This sleeve is not okay. Anyways, so I'm going to stitch it. Then I'll stop here. Then the next thing I'm going to do now, this is what I'm going to have after stitching the two together. And the next thing I'm going to do now is to stitch the flare. I'm going to stitch the flare. This is the flare we did earlier. So I'm going to stitch the flare. But before I move further, the first thing I'm going to do is to join the flare. We're going to join the flare as well, because the flare is not joined together. So the first thing I'm going to do is to join the flare as well. I already added to the flare. I added to it because I would need pleats. I want to do pleats on the sleeve. So that's why I added to the flare that I cut earlier. So this is it. This is the place I join. This place, open it. Open that place as well. Place it on each other. Put it on your machine. I said I want to pleat on it. So put it on your machine and start sewing it. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to this place. This place now. This is where the something stopped. This exactly that place. It's stopped here. Then I'm going to pleat like 3 pleats. All the pleats you are doing, make sure that it's not more than what you cut out in your sleeve. Make sure that the pleat is no more than what you cut out, so that the hand will not be too big for you to do. So that the sleeve will not be too big for you to do. You understand? Just going to like sew it.
Is it after fixing it? See, can you see it? This is how it's going to look after fixing it together. After fixing the flare on the normal sleeve, this is what you are going to have. Then the next thing we are going to do now is to join this on the body. But before that, let's see. So here is the body we cut earlier, the one we want to join, because the full length is not complete. So we are going to be joining it, the one I showed you earlier that I pinned together. Now I'm going to join it. I want to show you how to join it so that it will be very, very neat. Just place it as shown. After placing it, then we are going to like just top stitch on a straight line. Just watch this place carefully. After I turn it, so I already top stitch it already. So this is what I have. So this is where I'm going to be putting the trimmings, and I already joined the shoulder, and as well I already joined the body. This is what I have after joining everything together. So what I did was that I joined the shoulder, and I'm going to turn it, and I already turned it as well. So this is the body. This is I'm going to use my bias I'm going to use my hands rather to turn the neckline. But the reason why I use machine to turn the front neckline is because I'm still going to be putting these trimmings like this. I'm going to be putting these trimmings on the neckline. That's why I just feel like let me just top stitch it. Let me just stitch it with machine, since I'm going to be putting this on it. I hope you are getting it. So I'm going to use my candle. I'm going to be using my candle to gum it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join my sleeve. The sleeve we did earlier, we are going to join it on this body now. We are almost done with our sewing. So let's join the sleeve and let's see how everything is going to be. Let's join it. This is the sleeve that we did earlier. So we are going to top stitch here and just join the sleeve with the dress. We are going to join it now. Let's do that and see how it goes. This is it after I joined the body. This is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to start fixing my bead. This is the bead, and this bead I already fixed it one after the other. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start fixing the bead on the sleeve. I'll be fixing this bead on the sleeve. So this is how we are going to fix it one after the other till you fix it to your desired taste. This is how I'm going to fix it. And this is everything after sewing it together. This is it. This is what I have. So I want to show you, let me show you the bead very well. Let me show you what I have after doing it like this. This is everything after sewing it. It's very, very simple and easy to make. So if today is the first time of joining my channel, you are welcome. And if you're a return subscriber, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. God bless you for doing so, and I love you guys. Bye. See you in my next video. God bless you.